Have y'all not learned yet that when Donald Trump says 2 weeks, that he's just completely and utterly lying to you? He's done this for at least, 8, 9 years now, maybe even further than that. It's today's news in Warcraft. You're getting news. As we go and find the last 3 dredge crushers. And if we can find the Zilithist geyser that's near him, I'm going to get it and make a run for it. Because why not? So that's our in-game goal. And today's real world talk about here while we're doing all this is about the Middle East again. Now, as I said, after being 2 weeks, which means Donald Trump has lied to you, I'm just going to have to get these ones too. Just grind out XP while I'm trying to find the big worms. Everybody's wanting the worms. Something that's really long and has a bald head, and everyone in the game seems to go wild for them. Oh, there's one now. So, after being 2 weeks in the Middle East, because the original thing was Donald Trump said 2 weeks, you better make peace or you're going to live to regret it. Well, Iran responded with that and said, yeah, you can take that 2 weeks and shove it up your you-know-what, because we're not doing it. So this brought about airstrikes over the weekend at the Iranian nuclear sites, which were then met with rocket attacks to Israel that hit civilian sites. Remember when I did the Wesley Clark quote in the previous report on this situation, where they've known about they've been wanting to be in Iran ever since at least 2001, if that quote is correct. So remember that. And now the top headline on CNN: Trump floats regime change as Israel hits notorious Iranian prison. And again, we're flouting regime change? I thought MAGA was supposed to be all about that whole we don't want involved, the whole, in Star Trek it's the Prime Directive, where you don't interfere. You do not interfere in their affairs. If it's something that's exclusively their affair, you don't get involved with it. And the Democratic Party never wanted to let a moment slide by are talking about the constitutionality of this, but this has been done over and over and over and over and over again. I don't think this is going to get any traction, and especially if this comes with any kind of win for Donald Trump, okay? Any kind of win he can get out of this is something that is going to guarantee his party's re-election, okay? This war feels like a re-election war, where they need someone they can whip on for a little bit. Guess what? It happens to be Iran right now. And who would have known? Because, like I said before, it never... Oh boy, there's some level 60s over there. What level are you? It feels like we've got... Oh, man. If I can get to there... And that's, I think, where the cookbook is. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot while we're here. Come here, you. I'll go ahead and give that a shot while I'm talking about this. We were on what this really feels like to me, and it feels like someone needed a whipping boy. Iran seemed to fit that bill. It absolutely fit that bill for the purposes of this is especially, who knew? Again, who knew? I can't remember if they run away or not. So, who knew? I mean, who knew about the internals of Iran? They're talking about how possibly Iran is destabilized. And imagine that they're talking about Iran being destabilized. And I wouldn't have known that. They seem to be fairly, forgive the analogy, but they're more akin to a North Korean type of society where they can be indoctrinated because they're under the Ayatollah. They're not under a democratic kind of system. They're a theocratic system. Oops. I really was meaning to judge it with justice and never did. Oopsie me. There we go. Here. Ooh, good. But yeah, now they're talking about regime change there. But what would happen with the Ayatollah? And my first bet was a runner to Russia. That's my bet on where they would go. 1-0, boom, because they run. But that's my bet on this. They're going to do a runner to Russia. And there's 3 ways to get there. There's 3 ways to get there. There's a left, a right, and an up. And right will also take you into Afghanistan from Tehran. If you go, it's northeast and west. Okay, northeast and west. I'm looking at it from a map perspective, so you can go north and get through it that way. Hey, come here. Got it. Oh, oh, oh. Alright, now let's finish up the dredges. And so the easy way would be to go north and to hit the ocean. To hit the sea there. Sorry, it's not the ocean there, it's the sea there. Ah, there's my last one. And going by sea would also expose you the easiest because you're out basically in open water. Going north or up in that perspective with me into Russia, okay? So that's the big risk with going north. A land route may be quite easier for them to do. And what I mean by that, oh boy, some days. Now, the land route would be easier, and to get to Russia, the easiest route, it takes you through a bit of Iran and this tiny strip of Azerbaijan, and that will take you into Russia. That's the probably most effective land route. It takes you through a minimal amount of a third country, because if you go east, you get into Turkmenistan, or you go a really roundabout way through Afghanistan. It's a really roundabout way, but Afghanistan might allow you to have a bit more hiding spots. Since I believe that would be just a bit friendlier. What is there? Oh, that's the return point. Oh, you silly head. Okay. Ah, I still have 12 minutes. Ugh. So, what way is the road from there? Straight out. Bye-bye. There was not Silithist, but it just depends on a lot of factors. It depends on how friendly is the Ayatollah with these other countries. You know, how friendly are they with Azerbaijan? It might not be the it may be the fastest land route, but it might not be the safest land route because you are still going through a hostile territory in order to get there. And that's on that assumption that you cannot get through Azerbaijan. And we're going on the assumption that the Iranian government falls. They have not fallen yet. If they do, it'll be just as much of a shock to me as it is to everybody else. But I did want to say that right now they are still in power. The Ayatollah is still in power. Apparently in a bunker. At last that I knew, but I heard that area around that bunker got hit in an Israeli airstrike. But here we go. But we're going on the assumption that it fell. It's an assumption. It's not a real. Ha ha ha. Okay. Because I have the recipe now, don't I? Here. Yes, I do. Oh, and I have enough. Oh, do you have the spices? Wait. I don't think you do. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. I need the trade person. Where's the trade person? General, reagent. Oh, there isn't one. There isn't one. Oh, how terrible. Okay, so we'll have to go. Please tell me it's not the closest one. It is. It is, okay. It really is, okay. But like I said, it just depends on a whole lot of factors if the Iranian government falls on where they go. So with that out of the way, I'm going to be taking a flight path that's going to be very long and very boring, so I'm just going to leave it at this. So for today's news in Warcraft, this is Turkeytentia, and if you are in Israel or Iran, stay safe, and wish you a great day and great gaming. Goodbye, everybody.